ignorance is a reality our brother encounters in many sections of society. Extreme artificial speech in a natural. He sees someone, for instance, in a manner, "Where have you been?" Instead of this, one says sincerely that he has missed, that they have seen one. This becomes a really candid speech. But believe me, I am trying to call. They swear they are really delighted to see the other person. What did you expect? Are you supposed to? You will be pleased. Artificial. This is an unnatural. Makes people uneasy in many who speak honest. Is a grief to people. Heart, but with an would stop talking. That kind of talk is really talk to is is from the. But if one very happily and easily, if his presence peace, then he does ignorance. I can certain insha'Allah.
Sanki böyle bir tiyatro sanatı.
You know, speech as if they were adopt a really false mode of behavior and put on a very awkward show. That is the style people adopt while talking about religion. But able to check and immediately what is these people style roll their eyes behavior as if there was a light soundtrack playing in the background, tune of a flute. What need is there for all that? Itself. Someone who is really having a nice time wears a, but not all, but majority of them, that is a very painful thing.
Güzel manzaraları gösteriyorlar, güzel mekanlar gösteriyorlar.
Now let's suppose you're watching the and they show you views and plans, but two people
saatlerce konuşma karşılıklı. Bu
and the woman are talking, gossiping using ugly gestures and artificial movements. They talk to one another for hours like that. What can they learn from one another? What we have is immoral behavior, artificial facial gestures, embarrassing expressions, answering back, and behavior that I call religion of ignorance, that is in affection and compassion. Instead of that, however, they could be broadcasting excellent statements emphasizing love and affection or very pleasant images. Number of delightful places in this world, so many lovely views. They could show documentaries or records or discuss people and talk about their moral virtues. That is the
otomatik olarak egoist
Darwinist with it, egotistical and selfish state of mind. The philosophy of self cares what happens. All right, mentality develops. It's really the and selfish because selfish approach. They all self-interest. Bounds. They recognize no things as beauty, as surplus requirements. Economic crisis is able to develop so. Yet, if people were to place their trust, they saw the good in everything. Their loss. If they adopt who lies his neighbor is homeless, environment alms.
Çok zor.
However, Muslims good deed of their debts, for example, and forgiving them money out of greed or a concern for the future. They use those things because they hope it from Allah. They also in the future. Why? There's currency across the world because everyone is holding money and gold. Anything come with fear and unease. This means collapse, a complete dead end. Money must be distributed and wages must be raised. Nobody must worry what when that is done, the markets will think that the state's coffers can enter those coffers if the markets are not revived. In other words, there will be a huge flow of funds to it. It will go up enormously. Reducing interest will have a literally explode. For example, grandfather type, him with a crust, carries anything heavy he has with him and gives up one seat on the bus. Someone brought up to be egotistical, selfish and irreligious sees an elderly person, say, they look somewhere else instead. They turn their eyes on the street. There he is doubled over and you are. So you should for him wherever he wants to go. Showing love to someone like that will bring happiness, and Allah will then strength and joy and happiness. The self may imagine because of and but he immediately compensates in the face. There is a very simple idea taught that selfish never, not even your own father, but in the societal model we want to see, everyone will someone else, but and every majority eyes downcast. Signs, greet other people and be friends with them. The Turkish nation, this modern Turkey with its loveliness, insha'Allah, the beautiful country, people are more. Our nation is normal if it feels itself to be safe. No death in Turkey, or rarely. The people complain of having no money to buy meat or cheese, while those who do complain that these things have clouded up their arteries and raised their cholesterol level. Had known before, they say, and not eaten all those things, while people who subsist on vegetables wish they had eaten more meat. Yet there's a secret in all this. Someone who lives on vegetables, who eats spinach, imagines that Allah bestowed all and more healthy. But it is also, of course, important for there to be social justice among people. It is important that Islamic moral values should develop. Our Prophet ﷺ says that he who on a full stomach is hungry is not one of us.
Romantik demek gerçekçi olmalıdır. Evet.
Being is being unrealistic. We see this in male-female relations. Girls are more intelligent and realistic, but they are regarded as romantic, but it is really men who are romantic. Majority here, or those from a particular section of society. Girls deal with men like dealing with lunatics. Hairy great men weeping like babies. Down on bended knee and beg, and light candles. Like lunatics. This is really primitive. They write letters, stain them up a bit, and say that came from their tears. It's hard to find the word for such people. A huge great man is left with no more sense than a plank of wood. But people are in someone's face. You want to see their true face, their real voice and real words, and learn ideas. But we see men behaving in 40s. Their movements slow differently, their expressions are everything about artificial. They try to make others feel sorry for them. They walk around in the rain as it pours down. For one thing, highly amusing and also terrible torment for pose like play faces, use entirely artificial apart with an artificial language and words. Difficult to talk to such a person. I see that a great fiercely avoids artificiality, but it is really disturbing to talk to and artificial. Some women also behave in that way toward men. Man will weep like a woman, behave sentimental words, and that really annoys a woman. Artificiality, a man who is well, even though she, if he is reasonable and has a, she will say, smitten by him, that this such a thing has ever happened, and the poor and shortly bidding. For example, there is a real plant and an artificial wire. The latter is sold. People use it. In other words, they try to imitate. Something concerning love in the same way as a. But the person realizes that say for his car, home, or good look. It's clear resembling love. Obvious that when he loses his looks, when something happens to hate him, leave him. Acting. They deceive some poor souls, and they believe it all. I sometimes see some really bad-mannered with rings in their ears, razored hair, talking loudly in mumbling their words with a Walkman or words in their ears. Let them listen to their Walkmans if they so choose, looking ultra-modern in their own eyes, totally ignorant and ill-mannered. It is none of my business how they shave their heads. What they want is that this is modern, because means passionate and affectionate, modest, careful of what one says, words, to cleanliness, not disturbing other people, created for the sake of its creator, being a flowers, children, and all beauty, and seeing the intricate aspects of all. That inevitably come about, all the means. For example, this air condition, it means that he is enjoying the requisites of the age. The worst logic is taught to people from all sides. Their mothers tell them to come to their senses and be logical, that they must be very intelligent if they give them lessons in Most families are very logical, but materialist and Darwinist families base most things. For example, if something illicit is going to be done at work, trying to join in, people will ask, what makes you so honest when everyone else? They will let you to be logical and make you do.
One has to behave very sincerely and candidly. Once that is done,
That person to get problems.
I mean, honesty is not such an easy matter. It might cause a person a lot. I mean, honor is high. You should accept to pay for it.
People get constricted with logic. Their tongues and teeth become impacted being logically. Become one. They contract like a wood loud. Logic, self-interest, and gain. They contract because they imagine that the slightest error they make will have a harmful interests. Generally, people are sincere with their logic. I have already described this. Not according to intelligence. They wonder whether to behave logically, the voice of their conscience. Logically, they end up in serious trouble. In logic, a person always acts according to his conscience. Of course, people according to their conscience is difficult, not easy. Honesty brings 1,000. People can avoid by using their first, as then the real problem reveals itself. But troubles. For example, a knocks him down. All the other, but and to man up and carry him to hospital. If him, will pick the person up for Allah's sake. He will do whatever you will. If necessary, he will even be arrested. And should never be left there. A man who attempts and merely has to be saved. What should happen? So is he just going to sit? I have seen such an incident. A poor woman had drawn a knife. They broadcasted it on the television. Everybody around is watching. One can resort to every measure. Everything is permissible there. You piece of wood and kick the knife away, and it is prolong it. They went to cut up. I saw it on the television around. What kind of harm can there be here? Try and watch, or one day something. You can tell him that there's a truth. This is all. You can move in and take the knife. One poor woman cut up. So many similar incidents take because people worldly desires and self-interest logic cloud a person. For example, logic says if you give him money, you will be impoverished. So it is best to say logically and doesn't hand over the money. He then treatment. He thinks he did the right thing, and it was just as give it away before. This is logic. Love looks anyone else in the face. Only ranging. Anatolia is fine, but Istanbul more strangers to one another. But in smaller places, there is of and friendlier. Even in villages and small towns, strangers to. There is no people of truth. Taking someone's love hearts, meaning that people are hollow inside. For instance, those they have a difficult job. They are in great difficulty. It's a very troublesome, aloof. Ask after them, get them on your side. Those people need. It is unacceptable. And scold the people. Love and
Şimdi insanın kalbinde aşk olmayınca, Allah aşkıyla bakamayınca tutkuyu ve sevgiyi kaybediyor. İçinde muazzam gücü.
Now, when there is no love of they can't of Allah. Look around with love of Allah. They lose within them. A terrible emptiness results. Suffering, fear, worry. That suffering. Substances that and give harm to their bodies, and the outcome very bad. May Allah spare us. They sometimes in jail or are excluded or oppressed in society. Crimes of those drugs, and then say they have no knowledge of them when they come round. Once committed, that is no justification, of course, and this is a huge threat to oppose seriously as a society. We need to call people to the ways of the embrace Allah, beauty of profound love and passion. We must look at every love of Allah, everything manifestation. Take living happily as a basic principle. We do not have faith in order to be happy. We are happy. That is also very important. Of all is love. Anyone who steps outside it can see there are a great many glum faces. Include all of them. People do not look one another in the eye. One another. They avoid one another out of a fear of the other asking what they are looking at, or giving them harm or light and beauty has also declined or left, and ensure that our nation and society love one another, cause them to feel love, affection, compassion and forgiveness, feeling of union beyond them, and as it the inside be able to look freely at and talk to one another. What Paul is love, community, state love and trust, and hatred. Indoctrinate everyone on those lines. Not knowing terrible sadness, terrible scar from so many people, a catastrophe, a casted upon people. I mean, if love has gone from people's hearts, then everything has gone, and their souls have been ruined. People's souls have been, but the majority of love. We see is given a ring, and how happy is really degrading for. Whereas if his closeness to Allah and his make her very happy, but she feels happiness from that diamond. But 2 days later, that so now he takes her to a restaurant and she is happy again. These things are not love. It is the profound and powerful pleasure of Allah. People have but they are unaware. They cannot go by comparing it with something else. It's taken up one who has never experienced the pain of it. People who protect stray dogs on the streets at home throw their own old people but who are really protective when it comes to a dog. They say that they are, which is why they are so protective. But what you purity of heart?
Ahlaksızlıktır ve adiliktir.
Yes, it's utterly immoral to be an innocent, defenseless woman. It is appalling. Rather than proving someone's superiority, it acts and vile they are. The signs are intelligence, moral virtue, appropriate behavior, and it's a sign of superiority. In that, elephants also be, as they can also lay a human being out with a single blow. An elephant can smash, but that doesn't shows and reveals wealth in but happy. That food make them unhappy, as they little color see them as a house might go up in flames, or of able to shake off such fears. They send them and they work. What if they have had an accident? What if something has happened to them? They are really troubled. And something happens to their lip, and they wonder if is that lung is they're in a constant state of fear and worry themselves, but also so their nerves are always shot to pieces. They either smoke all the time or are taking drugs common across the world, as you know. It's especially in America. There are take one form of drug or another. Very common to the public. Life becomes utterly hellish. They even become afraid to drink water, scared it will stick in their. But the other way, at ease. Otherwise, will Allah to give him. As you know, people are always suspect. They rush out and they begin running downstairs. Normal. Then fire breaking out, of anarchy and terror, of disease. Human beings are weak. Fear is sickness. Whereas if they were to place their trust in Allah, they would live in abundance. That means one cannot believe in a normal situation. They imitate happiness. They talk, enjoy themselves somewhere. Whereas they really had a dreadful minute. They go to discos, for instance, and jump around like, but their sadness and unhappiness just them. Because sorrow is in their, they throw around but cannot escape. Let's leave this disco. The one say they will be happy and just accompany them there. They cannot if to go home, kicking the open.
mind never leaves them. Sleep, but they can't think about an attractive person, and that makes them really envious. Believe person. He gives thanks to Allah. He wants that person to be even more attractive. He upsets them. For example, it lifts the spirits. The artistry and manifestation of Allah, that delights us. But this is not the case. Types with negative torments them. Wealth and particular cause them. For example, religious and hypocritical, to see a one. That will make her through the day. This also applies to one very miserable. That is trying to get the better of one another. Lies at the heart of their immorality. They say things designed to put one and to cunning on each other. All is a fight. Why I religion of ignorance. People have very cunning over on each other. There are awkward ones that don't make themselves a they present the open methods. These people have turned into machines that just oppress one, like Satan. People wherever. As believers strive to make each other happy and at peace when they see one another. Beauty. There are some people who are constantly cancer, the slightest thing, and they have cancer of the brain or leukemia. They keep lymph full life. They worry about the earthquakes or war or logic. The reason behind their worries, logic. They think being very rational. They say they are thinking of the future. They imagine their very own. But how come they're in such a dreadful state? Suffering so much. They lose suffering that comes from placing one's trust in Allah. They may earn a lot of money, but they always. What if more money? What if their factory goes? Or come back? What if a car hits them? That person will. First person has closed-circuit cameras installed to his children. There are cameras everywhere. That is really difficult. Really difficult. In their head, but they cannot bear the secret of the. For instance, everyone gives thanks to Allah when they sit. It pleases them. They arrive. They give thanks to a nice place. What happens if a lamp falls on someone's head? They will lose all their beliefs in Allah on the spot. Who knows what wisdom lies behind his head? Senses or make him think about means of neutralizing someone or religious devotion. Allah will make him more knows the wisdom behind it. Why? It is a people to know the essence of the secret of the test and to behave accordingly. They must think about it day and night on the existence. Are generally people with a feeling of inferiority. People are ashamed to have religious devotion. Sometimes they are embarrassed to pray or to fast, but not, for example, mortal. Over sexual boast about them. Yet some idiots are embarrassed their prayers, so they go. They free them somewhat from those feelings of inferiority. But that's not enough. Darwinists and material
jinn. They establish religion, Allah forbid, a little bit. They imagine they can be totally freed from that grace them. Inshallah. We are told in thousand religious scholars will follow the Dajjal in the time of Hazrat Mehdi alayhi salam. For the coming of Hazrat Mehdi may be people from that community, some of them may have embarked upon ignorance or headlessness, but some have embarked on it deliberately. Of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But all these abnormalities will be isolated and clear. Islam and the matter will be firmly established with the coming of the Messiah alayhi salam, inshallah.
Dini anlatırken tabi böyle gerici ve tutucu insan.
When they tell children about the religion, they do so using backward and conservative language. Unbelievable, such terrifying, restrictive, unhealthy and improper language. I am fastidious about talking about Allah. Use a very shameless and sometimes even hypocritical style that is amazes me. Jokes about the hereafter, paradise. I believe people making such offensive and sent to the right about it. This is a terrible. It's the most barefaced and the most to tell a jokes that is very a sin and utterly vile response at all costs. It entertains nobody. Muslims very uneasy. It wounds Muslims and is a wild thing to be fiercely